introverted man here. Good old inspiring philosophy. Still not doing any logic, I see. Guess I'll make a video to explain it to you what these words are, because you don't know what words are and stuff, and it's really hard to look up things on Google and stuff. So whatever. So he's complaining about this other guy saying extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, which is like been reduced down to like the Sagan thing, or like they have a description for it. What do they call it? The Sagan standard. Like that's what it's known as apparently. Like you just Google extraordinary evidence and bam, you get that. You get extraordinary evidence from whatever this page is. I don't know. And then it says here's the Sagan standard, and it goes over what it is, and then it does complain. Fair enough, it does complain. Like we don't really like what does this mean? Like even in that it says, well, we don't. What does it mean? So that and then it goes on from there to kind of explain some of it. It explains the nuance of it, the both sides of it to some degree, and then says how to implement it, etc. It's pretty covered, I think, pretty well there. So that was a simple Google search. And then Wikipedia has it. And then, here's this other one, and here's all these other things you could have looked at. But, but the video that he's complaining about, in the video, he didn't explain it. Well, fair enough. I've complained about videos that don't explain the thing that they're explaining in the video before. So, yeah. It is annoying when people don't define their terms. I get it, IP. You don't understand what it means. What's an extraordinary evidence? Even though he gives you examples of things that he would consider extraordinary, you want a definition, right? You want to understand how to identify extraordinary in the first place, right? So, and he talks about let's see, least ad hoc hypothesis possesses an ad hoc component when a list of non-individual assumptions, that is, what goes beyond what's already known. Yeah, okay, so when two or more hypotheses seem equal, usually due to plasticity of data, historians often employ a great amount of imagination, which they shouldn't, in order to account for the available data. A hypothesis possessing an ad hoc component has the opposite problem when lacking exploratory power. The former goes beyond what the data warrants, whereas the latter may not go far enough. Okay, so in the example that he gives, eventually he talks about Jesus' death and resurrection, right?
We're going to do, right?
Despite the Sagan standard.
Well, he's got to complain more about it. Okay, let's try to get him to where he says that.
Good one. So why don't you come off your high horse and define the term for us so we, the peasants, can stop misunderstanding your super genius argument?
Yeah. I know you're just doing that for effect, but cut it out. I don't know. Just don't do that. Just don't do that. It's not. It shouldn't be that hard to understand. Again, Google it. But you want the video to do it. Okay, so the video didn't do it. Okay, got it. Point made. Moving on. Right.
Please continue with the definition. Furthermore, philosophical phrase, Socratic irony.
Yeah, whatever.
That's all we're doing here. Just give us a definition if it's so simple.
We did have a certain amount of extraordinary
You're
points.
extraordinary.
Shut up.
Okay, I'm sure that Michael didn't mean for that to be as funny as what it is.
How dare you, sir? I am no coward. I intend every comical line I deliver.
Okay, the weight of it.
Fruits.
Come on, you know what an extraordinary claim is.
No, we don't. It's...
Well, you don't. That's clear. Okay. Point has been made. He says Jesus' resurrection at some point.
Notice how much Stephen is struggling
at
to
some
give
point.
us any definition of what extraordinary
I think
we're just supposed to magically know. All he can do is give us vague
come on.
examples
Here we
of
go.
things he qualifies as extraordinary.
For instance, if you said that your cat weighed, say, 17 stone, that would be a hell of a claim that cries out for extraordinary evidence.
Okay, if I see a giant cat, I'll know it's extraordinary. But
Right. Okay, so that's one claim. Yeah, that's an example.
I need some guidance on how to identify something as extraordinary that doesn't involve humongous felines. For example, the resurrection of Jesus didn't even involve regular cats.
Right. The resurrection of Jesus didn't involve regular cats, but it did involve a resurrection, which is extraordinary. Now, you want a guide on what extraordinary is, I guess, IP. All right, and he didn't do it in that video. Fair enough. I'm not that guy. I can't respond. Whatever. I'm not. I only can explain to you what the word extraordinary means. So the word ordinary refers to things that, uh, appear in everyday life that we're used to. One way to frame it is mundane. Things that you are used to, things that you've come to expect. You wake up in the morning, you go, you do your morning routine, you go, you open your fridge and you expect that there's going to be something in there that you put there yesterday. You put that bottle of soda in there yesterday. And so it'd be pretty ordinary to see that there's a bottle of soda in there because you know that you put it there yesterday. Yeah, you have a receipt. You have a clear memory of it. You just did it, but you open the door, and instead there's that thing from Ghostbusters. Zool, that thing. That would be pretty extraordinary. You'd be like, "Oh my god, what the bleep?" You'd close the door, you'd freak out, and you'd be like, "Wait a minute." Open the door again. It's just soda. Yeah, that was kind of weird. That was a really weird thing that happened. Oh well, maybe maybe I was still dreaming. Who knows? I don't know, but that it wouldn't be mundane. It wouldn't be an ordinary event. It would be you know it'd be rather extraordinary because it's not something that you're used to. See, so the word extraordinary, because you can't Google things, I guess, is just says very unusual or remarkable, which I guess you could say, well, what does it mean to be unusual or remarkable? And you could keep asking what words mean indefinitely because you want to act like you don't understand words, I guess. Or you could say, okay, here is the mundane world. Like there's normal stuff that we expect. Like you drop an object, it falls to the ground. That's an expected thing that happens, right? You turn your key to the car. You expect it to start. Now when it doesn't start, then that's not extraordinary because it has happened. It's just rare, right? Now, what would be extraordinary is if you turned the car on and it started floating in the air. That would be pretty amazing. That would be extraordinary. It's extraordinary. It's not normal. It's not mundane. It's unusual. It's strange. It's out of the ordinary. It's beyond what you've come to expect in everyday life. Like, for example, somebody coming back from the dead is extraordinary. Why? Because it's not normal. It's not something that you see every day. It's something quite unusual. What other words could I use to try to explain what extraordinary? I love how there's a cross right outside the door. That wouldn't be there. The cross wouldn't be out there, right there, like they took him off the cross and brought him into the tomb. That's not how that works. Anyways, all right, whatever. So extraordinary. I don't know what other definitions I can give you. Let's see. Going beyond what's usual, regular, or customary, exceptional to a very marked extent. Okay, let's see. What else? Is it a TV series? That doesn't help. Okay. Oh, a very unusual, special, unexpected, or strange. He told the extraordinary story of his escape. Her voice had an extraordinary hypnotic quality, an extraordinary coincidence. Man, all these definitions I'm finding are just words with more words. Here's some synonyms: amazing, bizarre, curious, exceptional, fantastic, incredible, marvelous, odd, outstanding, particular, phenomenal, rare, remarkable, singular, special, strange, surprising, terrific, uncommon, unheard of, unimaginable, unique, unprecedented, unusual, weird. Okay, does it do you need definitions for all of these words? IP? Do you not know what any word is anymore? Or are you just, but I don't understand what that word means? Okay, look, it's not that difficult. Okay, you got the normal world that we're used to, the mundane world. That's one way to say it. It's like, how many things do I have to like categorize as mundane for you, right? Like the normal physics that we're used to, right? The ordinary world. You walk around, you open the door leads to a room. That's pretty normal. Now, if you open the door and it leads to, I don't know, a different universe, that would be kind of not normal. That would be extra. See, these are all examples of, but you want a methodology of discovering what is extraordinary. Well, it's quite simple. You compare it to events that you've previously faced. And if it is beyond what you have normally faced in your life, then you can fairly classify it as extraordinary, i.e., the resurrection. Never seen anybody come back from the dead. I've heard that people have done that. I've read about that. But of course, when that happens in the medical technology we have today, it's usually that, modern medicine has helped them. Um, so, that's not really super mega dead. Like Jesus was mega, super, mega, ultra dead. Like they put him on the thing, then they stabbed him with the thing, and then the water came out, and so his lungs were full of water. I'm pretty sure that stabbing with the spear didn't help him. Yeah, that guy's dead. Then they wrap him up and they put him in a tomb. If you're believing the story, which I don't, but whatever. You know, then the women, they go to do the thing, and then they don't tell anybody about Jesus not being there. But then in the other story, they tell what happened, and I'm not really sure what happened, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Eventually, the disciples figure out that Jesus wasn't in the tomb, and then Jesus shows up, and they're like, "Who are you?" And then he's like, "I'm Jesus." And like the one skeptic guy, he's like, "No, I don't know about this." And he puts his fingers in the holes. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're Jesus." And then they all believe it's Jesus. And then Jesus like walks around for a bit, says some stuff, and then he buggers off back to heaven, which is another extraordinary thing. Like watching somebody, I don't know, did he dematerialize? Did he like beam up into heaven? Or did he like literally float up into the sky, meaning heaven is up? Which, like, if you're on the other side of the world, it would be down. So that is heaven located in Jerusalem, specifically in that region of the sky? Can we find, did he travel interdimensionally? Where's his body exactly? Like, if heaven is non-physical and he has a physical, anyways, doesn't matter. But that's another event that we've never seen. You've never seen somebody float up into the sky without some sort of device that allows them to do so, right, IP? So there's another example of something extraordinary because it's beyond your mundane normal life. Okay. So you're complaining about not knowing what it is. I think I've explained to you what it is. Look, you even have the definition on your screen of what it is. Yeah, you did look it up. Good job. Oh, you looked it up again. Oh, you looked it up again. So why do you not understand what it means?
Numerous events throughout history qualify as extraordinary. Alexander the Great conquered the largest empire the world had seen up to that point by the time he was 33.
Well, no. Uh, that's not. I mean, yeah, you could categorize that as extraordinary, I suppose. But yeah, people are able to do that. But if you'd been around at that time and I don't know, you were in one of the people that weren't conquered and you just heard about it, you might be like, well, I need really good evidence that happened. And they'd be like, here, see all the evidence? I'd be like, oh, yeah, plenty of evidence. Yeah, you got it. Okay.
That's unusual, and by the dictionary definition, extraordinary.
Appealing to definition. So you're unhappy when you don't get a definition, But then when you do get a definition, that must be the only definition using. Okay, I see. All right. So, okay, instead of saying extraordinary evidence, how about we just say, um, batshit insane things require ample evidence. Actually, I don't even say this phrase. I just want evidence at all. Any. What you got? Do you have any? No, you don't. You don't have any evidence whatsoever of the event itself. Period. Nope. You got a written story. That's all. That's it. That's not evidence. That doesn't that's so what? People write stories all the time. People make up stuff all the time. I don't care. That's not evidence. Not good enough. Anyways,
But all the evidence we have for his life and deeds comes from biographies that were written hundreds of years after Alexander had died.
yeah. But he didn't use magic to do it. So that's not an extraordinary claim. I mean, it's not non-mundane. So I'll put it this way, IP, because you're struggling with extraordinary, right? Supernatural. If you got a supernatural explanation for anything, you need ample evidence for it. In fact, you need evidence at all. It's just any evidence. What do you got? What do you have? Do you have any evidence at all for an event that you can demonstrably demonstrate to be something supernatural? Do you? Yes or no? It's a very simple question. It should be a very simple question. You should be like, here, yes, I have example A, B, C, D, and E. And all of those examples stand up to scrutiny and skeptical inquiry. But you don't got that. Okay.
So, if extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and all the evidence we have is far removed testimony, which everyone accepts as sufficient,
Well, does everyone accept it as sufficient? Maybe, maybe not, but that doesn't make it true. See, there's a problem there. Also, sure, I can buy that somebody conquered large portions of the world because that stuff can happen. What I can't buy into is that somebody, I don't know, did the same thing, but they used magic to do it. Like he waved a wand and suddenly the entire region was now his. That I wouldn't buy into. You know? If he like rode on a magic carpet that was hovering in the air, I'd have problems believing that that was true. You know? If he had a crystal ball that he consulted, or like Arthur, the quest for the chalice, and he goes and he finds a sword in the lake, and then somebody's holding it, or he finds he finds the sword in the stone, and these things just seem mythical. They don't seem real. He pulls the sword from the stone, or he gets the sword out of the lake that somebody's arm is holding up, which doesn't, like, how does that work? You can't, what? And then he's got Merlin who does magic, and it's like, I don't know about this story anymore. It sounds made up. Stuff like that just sounds, mythical. So that's when I start doubting it. I don't have a reason to doubt mundane stories of people doing mundane things.
does that mean we have extraordinary evidence for the extraordinary claims about Alexander?
I don't know. We might.
Hannibal crossed the Alps with a pack of elephants and invaded Italy, which sounds extraordinary.
Well, I guess to you, doesn't sound extraordinary to me. But again, I classify as extraordinary as being not mundane. This is pretty mundane. This is normal.
That doesn't happen every day.
Yeah.
But likewise, all the evidence we have for that is testimony that was written down decades after the event
I see what you're doing here. Keep going.
happened. So again, if extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and testimony is enough for us to believe the extraordinary.
Testimony is enough for us to accept it. It not really. It shouldn't be. I don't think it should be. I know that some people are fine with that. I'm not. I could doubt those stories. I don't, because they're pretty mundane. But I know where you're going with this, so keep going.
claims about Hannibal, does that mean that the testimony is extraordinary evidence?
No.
Labeling any of these events or the testimony for them as extraordinary is meaningless. It doesn't tell us anything new about the events or why we accept them as historical.
It's a good question. Well, there are categories of historical. Okay, so what makes something a mythology? Okay, that's a question for you to ask, IP. What and when does a historian categorize something as mythology? Why do historians classify things that we find that are written in the past as mythology? What makes something a myth or a legend? Let me know your answer there. Yeah, like IP is gonna listen to me. Yeah, right.
And this is why it's pointless to go around for years saying that's an extraordinary claim, and then when we ask for a definition, all we get is,
You know what an extraordinary claim is.
yeah, it has something to do with fire-breathing dragons or giant cats.
Well, yeah, those are two examples. Those are extraordinary. Why? Because they're not mundane. They are unusual. They are beyond the normal stuff that we expect to see. Like, I don't know, magic. Magic's extraordinary. It's not something that we expect to see. In fact, we've never seen it. I will make that claim. We've never seen actual magic. We've seen things that people think are magic. Okay? Now, whether it's somebody writing in the past or writing today or saying something in the past or saying it today doesn't matter to me. The claim, whatever the claim is, has to have some evidence to support it. Just saying that a thing happened doesn't mean that thing happened. Other people saying, hey, yeah, I believe that thing happened, doesn't mean that thing happened. Lots of people saying, hey, that thing definitely happened, doesn't mean the damn thing happened. That's not how we decide if things happen. I know it's how you decide that this one thing happened that you happen to believe in, i.e., Christianity, but it's not how we decide other things because you reject other religions that do basically the same thing.
That's all we've gotten from you so far.
Is Michael really this ignorant? Really? I don't buy it. He's deliberately being obtuse.
I'm only as ignorant about a term as the person is who refuses to define the term.
Well, no, you're feigning ignorance deliberately. I mean, or you are indeed ignorant because whether or not somebody defines a term doesn't negate your ability to understand the term. So, yeah.
And if you don't understand the method of Socratic irony, I suggest you do a little more research.
I suggest you learn logic, IP. I've been suggesting that for a long time, but you just don't want to listen.
Someone says that, they're saying, well, I already have a worldview I've determined, and anything that goes against it is extraordinary. So if it contradicts my worldview, it therefore is extraordinary, and I need to have...
No, Michael. For goodness sake. According to my worldview, domestic cats don't weigh over 40 kilo. You'd thus be contradicting my worldview if you claimed that some domestic cats do get to this size. But guess what? I'm not going to rule out such claims simply because it contradicts my worldview. I'm going to ask for proportionate evidence, and if you meet that burden, I'll change my worldview.
Yeah. It's really like, look, okay, when you say something that is bizarre, like, a really big giant cat, bones would be pretty good evidence of that, Now, we need to examine those bones. We need to test them. We need to do all sorts of things because we've never seen that before, right? It's not something that we would expect to find. It's going to challenge our understanding of how things are. Okay, IP? I know you're kind of dense, but I mean, come on, man. All right. Here's the thing. All right. So let's just stick with your magic book that you call holy. Parting the Red Sea. Oh, it's unusual. I'd like to see that done today. Could you do that? just, by sheer force of will or calling upon your God to make it happen? Or was that a one time event that can't be repeated ever? Okay, well, what other events are one time events that can never be repeated? If every single event listed in the Bible is a one time event that can never be repeated again, and I'm not allowed to see any present miracles today, I'm just not allowed for whatever reason, then why in the world should I believe in them? Oh, well, because all these people said that it was happening. Well, yeah, but people do that for other religions too. So do I believe every single religion, every single claim? What methodology are you using for your view that, when applied to others, always works? And just asserting, well, Christianity is true, that means all these others are false. Well, is that really a good system? Or, I mean, I don't know, maybe you use that system. I don't know, but I'm just asking the question.
What does that burden look like in a detailed definition?
Well, okay, so like I said, you say there's a giant cat. I'd want bones at least. I don't know, videos, photographs, that'd be good. I'd want scientists that were, not part of the, that had nothing to gain or lose from it, you know, um, paid by, community fund or something, to be able to test the bones and rigorously look over it. That'd be pretty good. That'd be a good start. I don't know if I'd require additional things beyond that, but I mean that would be decent enough, you know. So, and of course, James Randi back in the day offered $1 million for anyone that could prove that they could do, amazing stuff. People claim, oh, I can find water, with this dowsing rod. And when it's tested, they fail to find the water every single time. The person says, I have psychic power, being able to lift this page. And then he puts a little bit of, styrofoam on it. Well, the psychic power is being blocked by the lights and the styrofoam. And, he had Uri Geller, they set up all these things for him that were beyond his control to test, so that he could do his normal routine. And suddenly he's, feeling weak tonight. He can't do it. The cold readers have been shown to be fraudulent. All the things that people have claimed that are supernatural powers have failed even the smallest test. And when we ask the religious for any evidence of the miraculous, they either give us something really ridiculous that doesn't withstand scrutiny, or they say, well, God won't give you that. You're evil for asking for the signs. You can't test God, or whatever other excuse, right? And that's it. We never get any evidence at all. So that's all. I just want any evidence at all. Actual evidence. Not a story. Okay? Story, not evidence for miraculous, magical thing. That's not enough. Need more than just a story. If all you need is a story, well, guess what? On my profile, you'll find 3 things about the lobsterist. And those 3 things are all stories. And I guess if that's what we're taking, then they must be true. Okay, great. Now what? What else you got? Anything worthwhile or no?
We reached the end of this video and we still never got a definition of what extraordinary is. All we were told is,
You know what an extraordinary claim is.
All right. I get it. Okay, you got a bone to pick. Okay, so what can I say here? So I'll just wait for you or anyone to give me any evidence that isn't just a written account of a miracle, supernatural, magical thing. Let me know. You get that. Alright. Making sure that's spelled right, because I don't know how to spell anything apparently. And that's my post. Alright, so that's it. Thanks for watching. IP doesn't know what he's talking about, I guess, but that's nothing new there. He doesn't have any evidence, and if he did, he would have given to us a long time ago. All he has is stories and bad arguments. Goodbye for now.